Yo, they call me Dank, the lyrical titan. Stepping in the ring, spitting fire, igniting. From the square circle to the booth, I'm dominant. Unbreakable spirit, call me the king, I'm prominent. Beyond the barricade, the podcast bumping. Real talk, no gimmicks, ain't no time for slumping. Grinding day and night, always something to prove. Elevating the game, that's the Dank move. Mic check 1, 2, this ain't no illusion. Dropping truth bombs, causing a commotion. From the canvas to the charts, I'm climbing. Champion mindset, always shining. Resolute, run deep, instilled the fight. Never back down, always standing upright. In the ring or on the track, same intensity. Delivering knockout blows lyrically. 1, 2, this ain't no illusion. Dropping truth bombs, causing a commotion. From the canvas to the charts, I'm climbing. Champion mindset, always shining.
All right, everybody. This is Beyond the Barricade. I'm your host, Papa Dank, and today I have a very special guest of all time. Let me bring to you the one, the only, Sonny Onoo.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Are you up in New York? Is that where you are?
I am in Long Island, New York, not just any place. The most magical place on earth.
Yeah, my kids went to school up there.
Oh, which school did they go to?
Hofstra.
Hofstra. I know Hofstra very well. My son's girlfriend goes to Hofstra right now.
There you go. See, I mean, my kid had a 4 ride, but decided to make me pay and go to the old Jewish school. I don't get it.
All right, let's start off with, how did you transition from martial arts into wrestling?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. Eric Bischoff and I, we used to compete together. And he was up in Minneapolis. I was in Iowa. And we would, you know, we're in early 20s. And all we want to do is be able to go all over the country, you know, just like any testosterone male, and want to go see how good we are. So we went around the country tournament. We had no money, but we go to a tournament and hopefully win some money because they would give money prizes for black belts. And we would go compete, and you know, you could fight and not get arrested and check out all the ladies all over the country.
Sounds like a great life, to be honest with you.
It was. It really was. So we became pretty good friends. You know, Eric was one hell of a fighter back in the days. He probably still is, but so we had that relationship that we done some business together and stuff. And one of the reasons he got into wrestling is because of a little Velcro Ninja Star game that I created.
Uh-huh.
And he went to pitch that at Barricade.
I remember that.
Because the AWA had a television.
Yeah.
And national television. So we made a deal Eric made a deal to be able to sell our game on his platform. And we split the money with AWA. And Eric, being a good salesman and good-looking guy that he is, he said, "Hey, you know, you're a great salesman. How'd you like to come and sell our AWA TV for us?" And he got a job as a television salesman. He sold syndicated TV for AWA.
Wow.
That's how he got in the wrestling business. So
that's awesome.
People who love him, hate him. There's a reason, you know, you can blame me for him being in the wrestling business.
Well, I got to meet him recently at an event, and he was really nice. So I have nothing but
nice guy.
Good things to say about him. All right, let's talk about the Chosen One tryouts. How did Chosen One tryouts come about?
Well, because of my relationship with a lot of Japanese company and Japanese wrestler, you know, and I live in the United States, so I probably get, even today, I probably get about 3 or 4 inquiry about, hey man, how can I get to Japan? How can I wrestle in Japan? A lot of indie guys. And I think there's a lot of respect by the people who've been wrestling, who done some tours in Japan, All Japan, New Japan, you know, Noah. And they all come back and talk about what a great experience they had and what a great learning experience they had. And for independent wrestler, it's quite the feather in their cap if they've done some tour in Japan, before they come to U.S.
Right.
And work for some of the big company. And 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 really, in the world, there's only really a two place where there's a real professional wrestling is embraced by the countries of Japan and the United States.
Right.
So because if I get those inquiries, a weekly, um, we said let's have a tryout because I can't take everybody, and find out a selected few, and we'll do the chosen one tryout, and we'll take a few guys. In 1999, before the COVID, we did about six different locations and chose two wrestlers from each location. Um, New
Wow.
York, House of Glory. We did one in Texas. We did one in Minneapolis. We did one in LA, and we did one in Kansas. And we went around and selected 12 guys. Those are the first group of chosen one. And we took them to Russell One, the company that used to be there. Now they're no longer, but that was the Great Muda's
Mhm.
company, was Kaz Hayashi. Um, we took guys over there and they live, ate, and sleep in dojo and learned the whole Japanese system of how they train. And they got evaluated once they got there, and they said, hey, their instructor says all these guys can work. So all the guys that went there got to work with Wrestle One promotion. Um, they got to work the great undercard at Great Muda's event at Colacan Hall, which is a legendary place where,
Right.
that's a feather in your cap. Every wrestler will want to work there.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. Then COVID hit and put everything on hold till and like I said, we get so many demand for it, so we started taking people. Matter of fact, Cyrus, one of the guys that one of the original chosen one,
Mhm.
as of this year, he's got a contract with All Japan now. He's got full-time gigs working in Japan. He done many of the tours since 2000, and they just
Amazing.
gave him a full-time job with All Japan Pro Wrestling.
That's amazing. Now, so far this year that you've done it, what has been some of the great success stories you've experienced?
Well, last November up in Minneapolis. We did a tryout for Noah, and we chose two guys. We were going to choose one, but it's really, trust me, it's really hard to choose one guy. These two
I
guys,
bet.
one guy from Canada, Bryce. Um, he he was Maple Leaf Wrestling Group.
Hmm.
He came out of that, and we had a John Davison who was training at Dustin Road School in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And so he's 6'8", 200 and some pound, amazing athlete. Bryce is kind of reminds me of Chris Benoit. He's
Right.
smaller, but he can move, change speed. So we chose both those guys, and they're coming home tomorrow. Matter of fact, they've been on 8 weeks tour with Pro Wrestling Noah. They train
Wow.
they train about twice a day, up to 8 hours a day. And if they're not training in dojo, they live there as well. And if they're not training, they were having a wrestling match, a couple times a week.
Right.
So you know, once they get there, they get evaluated. Of course, we send our best that we get out of our group, and if they deem that they can work, they get to work. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and our guys, Bryce and John, was so well received that they got to work with their top guys at Pro Wrestling Noah.
Wow.
So, you don't get that kind of opportunity. You can't buy that kind of opportunity. You know,
Yeah. hundred
and
percent.
yeah. So, I would love to have them come onto your show and they can talk about their 8 weeks.
Sounds good to me. You let us know when they want to come on for sure.
Yeah, they'll
Now,
be back, and so next couple of weeks, I
okay.
hook you up with that guy, those guys.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Now, they can register at Time Championship Wrestling for this particular show on Saturday, May 17th, right?
Yeah, there is. You can reach out to me, or they have a QR code there that you can look into, or reach out to me. I can send you a link to it, and you can register there. Um, and the winner, once again, this is the format now. Winner will get airfare to Japan. They'll get room and board. Um, um, I shouldn't say room and board. They'll get what they call chunko. They can eat. They can eat at the dojo if they want.
Uh-huh.
But food is very, because of the exchange rate right now, food is very inexpensive. Japan's really inexpensive. I
Right.
mean, you go in there to train, but at the same time, you're going to a different country. You know, so you
Yeah.
you get to experience amazing amount of stuff, and the guys. We have a couple of different dojos that we go to. We go the chosen one from New Jersey will be going to. You guys remember the wrestler Tajiri? Who,
Yes.
he's going to be going to their dojo in Kyushu, in Fukuoka, Japan. So they'll be training there for a couple of weeks, and if they are deemed uh, good enough, they'll be on their show.
That's amazing. Now, obviously, you can contact Sonny, Time Championship Wrestling, and for whatever reason, you can always contact me. I'll put you in touch with them for you to register for this amazing, amazing opportunity, because it is amazing. Because 95% of the wrestlers I've interviewed, and it's probably in the hundreds right now, their choice is always to go to Japan.
Yeah, it's a great feather in your cap. Matter of fact, you have to understand it's like almost going back in time to a certain degree, because
Mm.
Japan still kayfabe, you know,
Yeah.
um, um, and my guys will tell you when they come on, it's snug. When I say snug, it means you know it's listen. As we know now that we all we have so many smart marks, but
Right.
wrestling is suspended reality. None of us go to a movie or an event, especially a wrestling event, and go, well, that looks so fake. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
That's the last thing you want. We want to believe that these guys are actually fighting each other,
Yeah.
and 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 no different than a magician telling you how they do it before they do the show.
Right.
You know, we don't
Uh,
go to movie and watch Superman fly and watch him
right.
swing.
And
You
say,
know,
man, that can't be real.
yeah, yeah. There's no lightsabers. Come on. I mean,
that we
we,
know of, Sonny. That we know of.
you know, but that's the art form. I mean, it's an amazing amount of physical art form
Yes.
that what wrestling is. And,
Beautiful.
Japan, it's much more of that. There's, you know,
Yeah.
when I say snug, you know, and those chops are for real. I
I
seen guys
know.
get chopped so hard, he started oozing blood off his chest.
Ooh.
You know, I
I,
mean,
I I got chopped not too long ago, man. That is not fun.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, you get chopped so hard when you start oozing blood off, those handprints. That's
Yeah,
that's real chops.
that's a real chop. All right. Let's talk about your friendship with Titan owner Billy Betsky. What led to this great friendship you guys had?
Well, Billy, I think it was an Ultimo Dragon or one of my Japanese wrestlers that I managed. I think he had us booked in God, maybe 6, 7 years ago, in New York when he was promoting, and that's how we became friends. And I have always supported him. He's always been a good guy. He's a man of his word, and like my thing is, and he cares. He's one of those guys giving young guys an opportunity, giving them a platform at his promotion, and he's trying to like having this, the chosen one try out there, giving guys the opportunity to better themselves. So
Yeah.
Billy's just a good guy. He works very hard, as you know. He's got a shoot job going all over the country,
Oh
and
man.
and
He's always on that truck.
yeah, but when he's on the truck, he's got time to think and talk to me. You know what I mean?
He does.
So yeah,
He'll
so
be on. He'll be on a little bit later tonight.
oh good, yeah. No, Billy's a great guy. I have a lot of respect for him, and you know, He's a man of his word. He has never failed me.
100%. Same over here. We also have
Yeah,
another friend in common, Richie Sorrentino. I just talked to him today.
yeah, yeah. Rich is a good guy. He
He,
works really hard. I think
he
he's
does.
doing some kind of credit help or some kind of gimmick he's got going on, right?
He does have that going on. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose when you're not as good as promoter as Richie Serrentino, you got to get a side job. It-
I'm sure he's watching us as we speak.
Well, Richie,
100%.
Richie, I'm not gonna tell him the story where
Oh,
you had me sharing your girlfriend
oh,
in the
I
hotel.
heard about that. He
Yeah,
told me about it.
yeah. So I'm not gonna. We're not gonna go into detail, but yeah, that happened in New York.
Your fondest memory of WCW, which I loved, honestly, growing up.
Well, there's quite a bit, but I was very lucky, right? I'm the Japanese guy. I'm because I'm fluent. I'm born in Japan. I'm fluent in Japanese. So when we started, how I got my job was Eric was going to Japan to patch up a damage that was made by previous management, and because of my ability to speak and hear and understand Japanese, brought me along. And of course, once I got there, my position expanded into just listen to what they're saying versus they needed a contact person.
Right,
And Masa Saito asked Eric. He said we always had a problem with communication. We can't get a straight answer right away. And Eric says call Sonny, and I will always answer him within 24 hours, and you'll have your answer within 24 hours.
right,
And that's how I got my gig as working for World Championship Wrestling. I wasn't looking for a job, but opportunity arose, and I had a martial arts school then,
right.
but it's a pretty easy job. Take their phone call, ask for their request, and relate that message to Eric Bischoff, and get the answer and relay back to them. But as you know, because of because of me being bilingual, that position expanded. And of course, a few years later, we started to bring the Japanese wrestler over,
Yes.
and you know, none of them spoke English. And you got to remember, we're doing episodic TV,
Right,
so it's hard to move the story along without having a mouthpiece. So I
right.
became mouthpiece for the Japanese, and that's how it all started.
Still to this day, who are some of the standouts of today that you would say, wow, they're really special?
Well, listen, as I was saying, I was lucky enough. Think about it. I got to manage all the Japanese great at the time.
You did.
Masa Saito, Kanemoto, Otani, and a lot of these guys, this like Otani was 01, president of 01. Muda, of course, legendary great Muda, um, uh, and Chono. And you got to remember, I am so involved. We were just talking about it. I was talking to Japanese press today
Mm,
about, I'm involved. I will forever involved in. I was never in NWO, but I was involved in origin of NWO Japan. When Muda double crossed me, or not Muda, I'm sorry, Chono double crossed me and joined NWO, and I brought Muda in, and a week later in the Nitro show to avenge my honor, and of course Muda double crossed me, and that they became, Hall and Nash of Japan version of NWO,
wow.
and that was the beginning of NWO Japan. NWO Japan was so successful in Japan for New Japan. They made more money off that angle in Japan. In 1998, they sold. I know this for Eric and I was both told by one of the executives from New Japan. They sold $8 million worth of NWO T-shirt, the black and white NWO T-shirt in Japan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing. Amazing.
amazing, amazing to this day.
All right. What is Sonny Ono's favorite food? Everybody wants to know. What does Sonny like to eat?
Well, I'm Japanese, so I go to the great sushi place. You know, so I lean towards you know living in the U.S. It's great to have um, you know nice fillet at the amazing restaurants, that we have here. But um, like I said, I lean towards my comfort food like sushi and ramen and a lot of Japanese stuff.
So no Waffle House.
No, well, I done the Waffle House with the boys. That was the go-to place for the guys when we were on the road. So.
Right. All right. We got a question from Serena, the executive booker of the show. What was tougher for you to learn, kickboxing or martial arts?
Oh well, it's kind of martial arts goes right into kickboxing. So
Yeah, same.
I, I was one of the top bantamweight 1975 to 81. So you know, it's in you, right? You like to fight or you don't. You know, and when you're at that age, when you're young and in 20, you want to see how far you can take this. How good are you really?
Yeah.
So you test your skills, and I was lucky enough to train with some, some of the top guys, like Gordon Frank was the super lightweight champion of the world. You know, Del Bravo, who was one of the legendary boxing coach up in Minneapolis. So I got to train with a lot of those guys. So I was lucky. You know, and listen, I live for immigrant kid from Japan. I live a charmed life. You know, uh, I'm married to amazing, beautiful women for 43 years, and she put up with all my stuff, all the traveling and all that. I
That's
have
tough.
four wonderful kids
Yeah.
graduated from college, and they're all paying taxes, so I done my part.
Awesome.
Um, and yeah, I live a blessed life, and even now, as retired as I am, um, I get a chance to travel all over the world. I was in Qatar with Jushin Tandalaga, who I often manage to a lot of these signing event and a lot of the fan fest event. I was, I'm with, of course, I'm known to be with Ultimate Dragon. I'm with him, 5, 6 times a year because he's still wrestling.
Yeah.
So I get in the ring with him and help him, you know,
Yeah. He
throw a
just
few
had
kicks in there to
he
help
had
the
a
guys.
he had a match out here recently, right?
Yeah, so I have a great Muda. Um, he was just in WrestleCon in Las Vegas, and I'm going to be with him in New Jersey coming up here with SummerSlam,
Yeah, there's another WrestleCon.
and I'm going to be there also with Liger, Jushin Thunder Liger. So I'm going to be double fisted with Liger and Great Muda, two of the most iconic wrestlers,
Yeah.
known today, and amazing history as legendary Japanese wrestlers.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. One piece of advice you think wrestlers today need to hear.
Say it again one more time.
One piece of advice today's wrestlers need to hear.
I think they have to take it. You know, you never stop learning, right? You know, and I think more experience you do, I think I think you can learn so much from not to do what they did, but you can learn so much from old timers. I think in this business, those guys been there and done that, and sacrificed their body
Yeah.
and their times. Um, there's a lot you can learn from it. You don't have to do what they did, but I think you can learn from what they for the legends. Every chance you get, I think you should pick their brain, and um, like I said, it's good for you to believe in your craft because it is an art form, no different than you know, no different than a great magician because they're in the part where you are, you
Yeah.
know, and I don't think, and I'm gonna tell you because I just talked to my Japanese guys who's coming back tomorrow, the Bryce and John.
Hmm.
Um, they flat out told me training up to 8 hours a day, every day, or wrestling a match. They feel that they're so much better, and and they even told me, I said, it's gonna be different when they come back. They told me it's gonna be different when I come back because
Yeah.
people here don't have that same dedication as they do over there. So um, I think if you really want to be that next level wrestler, course, he takes a lot of opportunity and um, and travel, learn, meet people, don't burn bridges, and you may get a chance.
100%. All right, Sonny. Why are you known as the king of selfies?
Well, back in the days, Japanese were known. If you watch the Japanese tours, they always got a camera and they were always taking pictures.
Hmm.
You know, that's kind of known as it's a stereotype Japanese tours.
Right.
And so when we came on, I came on with actually one of those big cameras, uh, you know, um, uh, and I said, well, I don't have a camera guy here, so I think I'll just take a selfie with me making an entrance, front of the entrance, with the WCW stuff behind us, and you know, um, so I started doing that, and I said, you know, back in the, remember those Fuji Instamatic cameras that you
Yeah.
wind up, yeah, the little
Yes.
flash thing. So we said, well, that's a lot easier to take the picture. Well, then I started doing a selfie with those. You got to
Oh,
remember, this is before we had camera phones,
yeah.
you know. So, so I'm known. I'm certainly not an inventor of the selfie, but the guy who probably invented the camera probably did his own selfie. That's the guy who did the selfie initially. But
Mhm.
I was the only guy that was actually doing on television week after week. 3, 4 times a week on the camera. So, I'm known as the innovator of selfie because I was doing it.
That's awesome.
And
Uh,
if I can get 10 cents for every time when somebody did selfie, man,
I bet you get a lot of requests to take a selfie with you.
yeah,
I know. I want a selfie with you at
yeah.
the day of the event.
Yeah, the big thing I get is they want to take a picture of me doing a selfie with a fan, and somebody will take that picture.
That's awesome. All right. So, what does the rest of 2025 look like for Sonny Ono? I mean, we got
Well,
WrestleCon coming
listen,
up.
yeah, I mean, like I was telling you earlier on your earlier question, I get to travel all over the world. I was in Qatar in February. I was in Qatar. I was in London. I was in Manchester. I was in Miami. I was on a cruise boat with Jericho, with Liger. So we went to Dominican Republic. You know, so and 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 of course, big event New York, um, um, WrestleCade, WrestleCon in Vegas. So I get to go to all those. I get invited to go to some of the biggest fan fests. So it keeps me busy, and of course we do these tryout. We do about 8 of them to 9 of them a year. So we got that going on. In June, we're in North Carolina with Chosen One. We're doing up in Wisconsin, and we're in Atlanta. That's just June alone, and I think we're back up in Pittsburgh in September. And look like right now, we're trying to set up one in Glasgow, England, or Glasgow,
Right.
UK.
Wow.
Um, we'll probably do one there,
Okay.
and then we're gonna take some of these chosen ones. I'm gonna take them to Japan, and Abema TV and Noah, a sister company called Monday Magic, and their logos look like a Monday Night Nitro thing.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna have my wrestlers from Chosen One wrestle there. Hopefully, to have them wrestle there and train at Noah Dojo. So I
All
got,
right. You're
I'm busy.
busy. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, yeah,
I want to take the time to thank you for coming on my show and speaking to me. But I want to ask you one more thing.
sure.
Where was the only place that you wanted to go that you never got a chance to go to?
I've been there, but as a wrestling, I have not gone to um, Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had an opportunity to go, but WCW had an event there, and I didn't go. Um, so yeah, that's one place I'll probably get to go. Muda's going there, and I think in next couple months. So yeah, so I'm sure I'll be going there, but don't know when.
All right. Sonny, thank you for joining me tonight. Now, don't forget, everybody, make sure you get your applications in for the Chosen One tryouts coming up Saturday, May 17th, in conjunction with Titan Championship Wrestling, of course. They're hosting the event. I mean, Sonny will be there, Perry Saturn will be there, the Tokyo Monster will be there. All three of them will be there to choose someone.
There'll be more guys there. I'm gonna bring a couple more guys. Matter of fact, I might bring a wrestler who was the original chosen one. I'm gonna bring him there so that people can ask him questions. What was it
Yeah,
like? What was their experience? What's it like in wrestling in Colacan Hall? You know, so you'll have a different perspective from
right.
wrestler himself who won the chosen one.
That's awesome. This all starts at 9 a.m. and then right after we have Titan Championship Wrestling presents Rise of the Titans as PJ Savage takes on Michael Fain for that TCW championship. And this one's been brewing for a while, Sonny. And they
Yeah,
finally collide on Saturday, May 17th.
yeah. I mean, Billy puts up a nice event, so get your ticket. And those of you who want to dream of going to Japan, and even if you don't win, you're gonna have opportunity to pick my brain, and I'll take you there. I'll show you how to get there. So
Yeah,
be sure to come. Be sure to come to the tryout. You're gonna learn a lot of things and
definitely.
have all your questions. I'll answer them all for you.
All right. As for me, coming up next, Billy Fetsky will be joining me right after this at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, I will not be there, but I will be at Titan Championship Wrestling presents Rise of the Titans Saturday, May 17th. Get your tickets for that. Make sure all professional wrestlers that are watching this sign up for the Chosen One tryouts. If you're in the Northeast, come on down. You could be chosen to go to Japan, which is an amazing, amazing experience for any wrestler that wants to go to Japan. Herb Simmons presents SICW FanFest in St. Louis, Missouri, May 16th and the 17th. You got the Bill Apter Show, the St. Louis Hall of Fame, the Fan Fest, and of course the SICW show with the Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup. And the cup will be presented by Bruiser's widow, Barbara Goodish, who is super nice. And if you're looking for Bruiser Brody merch, contact Barbara Goodish for all the Bruiser Brody merch. Coming up July 12th, I have NYWC presents Rising Stars Women's Wrestling. Legit Layla Hirsch already announced to be at the event July 12th. Tickets go on sale soon for that. Sonny, thank you for joining me. Hold on for a minute. Everybody else, have a great night, and we'll be back with Billy Fetsky.